Lately, I've been thinking a lot about work-life balance. Like, you're doing it just for shareholder value.
We're copying objects across two AWS accounts, S3's Copy Object API.
Versace on the floor.
Just got back from the gym, showered, and had breakfast. Today, I have a pretty busy day. I need to start my work day, and then hopefully I can get some leak code studying in and some editing and some script writing in as well.
Today, I'm creating the policies for my Lambda's IAM role to copy objects from service A S3 bucket to service B S3 bucket. We plan to utilize S3's Copy Object API to perform this, but the Lambda needs to have get object permissions on service A S3 bucket and put object permission on service B S3 bucket. We can create policies in CDK to enable these permissions and then attach it to the Lambda's IAM role. When the Lambda gets created through CDK, we give it that IAM role that has the S3 permissions. One tricky thing that I had to figure out was that we're copying objects across two AWS accounts. We provided the IAM role ARN for each environment to the team that owns service A, so they can explicitly give our Lambdas get object permission on the S3 bucket for their respective environments.
Day in the life of a software engineer. Go. Hi, can I do a large house coffee, please? Lately, I've been thinking a lot about work-life balance and burnout as a software engineer. I just got back from a weekend trip and I didn't even have to think about work. And that felt great. I felt like because I make software engineering content and early in the year, one of my goals was to get promoted at work. Work was all that I think about, even on the weekends. And it does take a toll on your social life and your relationships with others. Whenever I'm out with friends or going on a date or something like that, I feel like all I can think about is work because that's what most of my life is about. Other than work, the only other things I do is like work out, maybe go for a run, and like go to a bunch of like raves and concerts. Other than that, I feel like I'm not that interesting as a person. Yes, I do content and social media and all that stuff as like a side gig. If I take those two things out of the equation, like who am I really as a person? Like how would I describe myself? One of my goals earlier in this year was to focus on my life outside of work. And for a hot minute, for a month, I would say I did succeed in that. But ever since busy season picked up and I got into the later half of the year, that did not work out whatsoever. I feel like it's hard because like you had to actively put yourself in a position to have a life outside of work. And if you don't prioritize that, then you're just not gonna happen. That is something for me to work at, and hopefully I get better at that throughout the year.
I mean, if you want to be honest, I feel like I didn't learn anything new. It was the answer I was expecting him to give, so nothing really changed from my end. That RTO stuff has been running in the back of my head for a while. I would say I would think about it at least once a day. A lot of my motivation has been like down in the dumps as of lately. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet, and I feel like sooner or later, like I have to make a decision. I just been pushing it off indefinitely. That's kind of like my mentality right now with it all. Worst case scenario, I don't want anything to come at you as a surprise, so I'll like try to be upfront about it.
Today, I need to create a VPC and private link for my Lambda to make requests to service A. A private link is needed to make requests since both services live within a VPC. I first created a VPC for my Lambda and created environment variables so my Lambda knows which region and environment it's in. I then created the private link between my Lambda and service A. Since this is a common use case in my company, there's an internal tool that abstracts the private link creation. First, we onboard our AWS account and service onto the internal tool to give us a unique identifier. We provide this identifier to CDK, which will then create the private link between our Lambda and the other team's service. I'm grateful that there are internal tools that abstract solutions like this. It makes my life easier and lets me work faster. However, these tools don't teach you transferable skills. If I needed to create a private link at a different company, I wouldn't know how to because I relied on an internal tool for that. These are some of the pros and cons on working in big tech.
Hey, can I do a large house coffee, please? I had a conversation with my coworker about whether or not working in corporate kills your creativity. And from my perspective and their perspective, the answer was yes. But I feel like the answer really also depends on your situation. Because I work in a big tech company, the stuff you work on isn't really fulfilling and you feel kind of empty inside. Like you're doing it just for shareholder value, which you're obviously paid to do. But like if you were to work at a startup, and I've seen like other people who work at startups, they feel much more fulfilled with their work. And it does play a role in your mental and how creative you can be. If you're doing work that's not fulfilling, that really kills your creativity and your motivation to do things. From personal experience, when I was in college, I used to DJ a lot and I thought I was gonna try to become a DJ at one point. But that motivation quickly died once I started working in corporate. I had to balance working a 9 to 5 and also trying to pursue DJing, and at the end of the day, corporate won over and I kind of killed that dream. And it's really hard to get into the creative mindset when all you think about is work, and work takes over your life and it takes over your mental headspace. So I would say from that perspective, corporate does kill your creativity. We also talk about how if you have a passion in life and you try to monetize your passion, that's when your passion dies. What I mean by that is when I was in my DJing era, I would try to get a couple of gigs and house parties that would pay me money. But because I'm being paid money, I felt like I'm forced to DJ stuff that I'm not really into. I'm really into like the EDM world. And so when I'm like kind of required to play, you know, rap music, hip hop and all that stuff, it doesn't feel as fun anymore. I feel like I'm doing it just for the money, and that really kind of killed the purpose of why I started in the first place. So those are my thoughts about how money, passions, and your corporate career kind of intertwine with each other.
As part of our automation project, our Lambda has an SQS event source that will pull messages off the queue. Today, I'm writing the Lambda code that processes an SQS event. When the upstream team sends us an SNS notification that a song is ready to be processed, our Lambda continues the automation of processing the song. Our Lambda expects the following payload as part of the SQS message. All it contains is a song ID to be processed. Each SQS event can pull multiple messages off of the queue, so we iterate through all messages part of this event. We then want to extract the song ID from the SQS message. We utilize a JSON library to retrieve the song field from the JSON body. With the song ID extracted, we can make requests to downstream and upstream services to continue the song processing automation.
It was like $7 and I was like, screw it. Eat his B-roll.
I don't know how this happened so fast, but I need to clean up my room again.
Today, we're writing the logic to copy the song from service A S3 bucket to service B S3 bucket. Earlier this week, we gave our Lambda's IAM role permission to both buckets so that we can utilize S3's copy object API. After extracting the song ID from the SQS message, we call service A's get song location API to retrieve the S3 location of the song. We then create the S3 copy object request using service B's bucket as the destination bucket and then execute the API. After the copy finishes, we then call service B to finish off the song processing automation.
Just finished work and about to go on my afternoon run. Today was a really average day in the life. I did everything in my daily routine, and it's one of those things where like when you look back at the end of the year, you're like, holy shit, every day went by so fast. It's because you have these routines in your day. On one hand, it's nice that every day is kind of repeatable and you know what's gonna go on. But on the other hand, it kind of gets in the way of being spontaneous and kind of having a creative and entertaining and an exciting life outside of work. So going to get these miles in and continue with the rest of the day. Every time we wanted to get the pre-signed URL, a new audio player component, play like 100 results on a page. I woke up and I brought it in bed for like 2 hours on TikTok. And that's when I realized I needed to touch some grass and see the sun. So here I am out on my run. So see y'all later.
When our Lambda finishes the automation of processing a song, we want to update the song status and notify the user to review their song. This is done by having our Lambda make a request to service B after the song has been copied to service B's S3 bucket. Given a song ID and object key, service B will update the song's location in a database and update the song status to pending review. Then we notify the user through email that their song is ready for review. With this in place, we've completed the song processing automation. We created all the infrastructure to enable this automation like S3, SQS, Lambda, and private links. We then set up a connection between our Lambda and service A and service B to make the necessary API calls to complete the song automation to get it into a pending review status for our users.
Oh my god, he's doing it again.
Oh my god, guys! Hey guys.
What's up, gang?
Gang gang.
Oh, am I making the vlog? The vlog!
Versace on the floor.